Hey, what's happening, everyone? How's your week been? Mine's been pretty good. Just got back from Mexico and all is good. So, beautiful day here in the Bay Area. It's gonna be close to about 70, which is amazing for the Bay Area. I'm telling you, it's been one cold winter. And we're technically still in winter. We'll be in winter for a little while yet to go. But today I'm going to be putting on an engine guard on my FXBR Breakout. Now I looked on YouTube to see if there was any content on how to do this. I know you're thinking an engine guard. Well, shit, that's the most easiest thing to do. Well, I've never put one on a bike before. Most of all my motorcycles came with engine guards. I've never personally put one onto a bike. So if you've never done it before, then obviously you're really not going to know how it goes. And honestly, an engine guard is probably one of the most easiest things to do on a motorcycle. But again, if you've never done it, it could be a little intimidating. I know that one of the videos I did see on YouTube, the guy showed his YouTube as installing an engine guard, but yet his content had nothing to do with step-by-step process of putting on an engine guard on a Harley Davidson. And he basically said that, well, you know, if you don't know how to put on an engine guard, you shouldn't be riding, because if you don't know how to work on your bike, you're definitely not going to know how to ride it. And I couldn't disagree more. You know, it would be like me saying, hey, you know, have you ever driven a Mustang GT pumping out 680 horses? Have you ever worked on one? And if you said no, that would be as stupid as me saying, well, then you don't know how to drive it. And you don't know how to operate it, and you shouldn't be behind the wheel of it. It's absurd. So anyways, I am going to show you one of the critical parts of installing this engine guard. It is probably one of the most confusing processes. Once you get past this one thing, then it is going to be extremely easy for even you to do it. Now, I know that Harley Davidson charges anywhere between $218 and the price goes on up to about $4 something. Very expensive engine guards on Harley Davidson. And I know a lot of people will take their bikes in and have, you know, Harley Davidson do the work for them, but why pay Harley Davidson, you know, $400 in labor charges to do something that's going to take you, once you get past this one difficult part, why would you pay Harley Davidson to install something that's going to take you less than 10 minutes once you get past the first process of it? And I'm going to show you, being as most of the videos that I did dig up on YouTube did not show you, I'm going to show you the one critical thing that you will need to know when you're putting on an engine guard. Now, every single make and model of Harley Davidson is different, but I'm referencing the softail models in specific. Not Road Glides, not Road Kings, you know, not CVOs. I'm specifically talking about the softail model frames. And I'm gonna show you the first hurdle that you'll need to get over. But once you get over that, then, like I say, 10 minutes, boom, you're done. Why take your bike into a dealership or even a Harley mechanic that's gonna charge you $80-something an hour, and you know they're gonna milk it, so you're gonna come out with, you know, at least minimum, well, for the Bay Area anyways, it would run you about almost close to $300 to $400 just to install a part that takes like 10 minutes. of your time. So anyways, guys, stay tuned. I'm going to get this bike out, and then I'll show you the critical parts of installing this engine guard that you'll need to know when you first start the process. Okay, stay tuned. Okay, so now that I have the bike unraveled from its storage bag, I'm going to show you the critical part of starting to put on a engine guard. And this is the one part that really confused me in the beginning. I was like, well, wait a minute, I have to take the foot peg bolts, because some of the content that I was seeing was suggesting that I start with taking the foot peg bolts out, and I couldn't understand, well, why the foot peg bolts? That doesn't make any sense, especially on the breakouts. So like on the breakout, I have this rear brake, power brake reservoir, right? It also bolts in along with the foot peg. So it's like wow. That's, I mean, I would have to buy a whole new bolt, a longer bolt, to get that all in at once with the engine guard. So it didn't make any sense to me, and I was just a little bit like, okay, what the hell? It doesn't make sense to me. But there was one video of a guy who was putting on an engine guard on a Fat Boy. And the Fat Boy actually shares some of the specifications of a Breakout. Essentially, to me, a Fat Boy frame is almost the same as a Breakout, may even be the same. I don't know. I'm just assuming from what I've read and seen that Breakouts, some Breakout parts will actually interchange with Fat Boy. And this guy pulled out two little plastic pins. Okay, two little pins that people like myself who've never done this before would get fooled, and it's critical to the start of putting on this engine guard. You know, when I was trying to do it before, I looked at it and thought, God, this just doesn't make any sense. And I was looking over where the plastic pins are on the frame. I thought that the pins were just a part of the frame. I didn't know that they were actual plastic pins. And it's easy to get confused and fooled by this. But I'm going to show you. Right there is a pin. Okay? And on this pin, which is right here, where my finger is, I'm touching it right now, that's a plastic pin. It pulls out, okay? And then I kind of got fooled. Okay, well, what about the other side? You know, where the brake reservoir is, and the foot peg and the brake pedal, you know, where's that? Same place. See if I can get down in here. It's right there. That's where the peg is. Pull those two plastic pins out. There's a hole there, and it's already designed to take a bolt. And you're going to take the bolts that come with your engine guard. You're going to pull those out, needle nose, you know, by hand. You can do it either way. They'll actually spin out like a nut, and then you pull them out, you bolt it in. That's your bottom bolt fasteners for the engine guard. Once you do that, then you have two options. You have the lower and the upper hole here, and this is kind of hollow here. It's a tight squeeze to get your finger in to hold the nut to the bolt. But 3 points. You have both sides mounted and then fastened here, and you have two options here depending on what kind of engine guard you're using that you can use to fasten down your engine guard. And so yeah, you get through those two things. It is easy. Why go out and waste extra money when you can do it yourself? And you do get to know your bike. Now, everything I have done to this Breakout has been me. And like I say, this is my first Harley Davidson I have ever owned. I do have another Harley Davidson, but I'm doing some things to it. I'm going to feature it in a video when I'm ready to feature it. But for now, I'm working on my Breakout and continuing to do some of the customization that I want to do to the bike. And I don't know how an engine guard's going to look on a Breakout. I mean, these bikes are unique within their own form. You know, you look at a Dyna, you look at a Sportster, I mean, you look at Road Glides, you know, Road Kings, they all pretty much have the same familiar looks to them, okay? But a Breakout is kind of a category all its own. I guess if you had to compare a Breakout, you can look at it as a skinnier fat boy, right? You can look at it as a skinnier street bob, if you had to do the comparison. But they're kind of a league of their own. In fact, I don't see too many people here in the US riding these. I see a lot of Europeans riding these bikes, but not too many people in the US. I could be wrong. Could be a ton of people here in the United States riding the Breakouts, but you know, I've always liked the looks of the Breakout. You know, it shows that it's got muscle and it's got style. And I just really love the stream look. And they base this platform basically off of their drag and chopper look. This is the chopper and drag bike version that Harley came out with. I believe the first model of this particular frame was in 2018. Again, I could be wrong. So I don't know what an engine guard's gonna look like on this bike. And honestly, I really don't care. I mean, as far as, I mean, cosmetically, yeah, I do care. I don't want the bike, excuse me, I don't want to take away the looks and the streamline of the bike, but at the same time, I don't want to ruin my engine. And if I have to lay the bike down, popularity and judgment versus safety and surviving, I'm on the survival mode. And that means if I got to put on, you know, an engine guard on this bike, that's exactly what it means. I'm going to play it safe. These bikes are an investment, and it's an investment that you pay a lot of money for. I don't know about anybody else, but I paid premium dollar for this bike. Bought it brand new. When the bill's all done and said and paid off, I have $20,000 in this bike. So if I take away a little bit of its looks, if this engine guard looks a little bulky for the bike, then so be it. At least I know that the bike and myself is going to be safe. In the event that I have an emergency and I have to lay this bike down, or it tips over, whatever the case is, my engine is going to be protected. Okay, my feet, my legs are going to be protected. And that's the whole point. So anyways, without further ado, I'm going to get this engine guard on and I'm going to go for a ride. So stay tuned, I'll be back with you. All right guys, so I just got done putting the engine guard on my Breakout, and I got to tell you, it actually, to me, I mean, you guys are going to judge it either way, but to me, it doesn't look that bad. That's the finishing product. And it didn't take me 10 minutes. It actually took me about 17 minutes to install. And just think, it didn't cost me anything in labor to get it installed. Right? So I saved myself 400 bucks, possibly even more money. But it doesn't look too bad. Well, it sticks out, but that's the point, right? So if this bike goes down, it's going to protect my legs, it's going to protect my engine. And I got to tell you, I don't know if you've ever replaced one of these Milwaukee 8 engines, but they start off at about, I think the last time I looked for a brand new one, crate engine, starts right around $4,000, and it goes up from there. It depends. If you install an S&S, you're looking at about $6,000-$7,000, and some of them S&S goes up to about $10,000. Harley Davidson, you could spend close upward to about $10,000. So protecting this engine is very important to me. So this is the little pin that I was talking about. It's just a little plastic pin. People at the Harley factory, they put these in, so when you do attachments, you just have to know that these exist in this frame for whatever you're trying to customize, like in this case with the engine guard, that there are, if they make a product customizable for this frame or any frame at that matter, there's always going to be these plastic pins throughout the frame. See, that's something I learned. Now that I know that, any accessory that I buy for the bike, I'm gonna know that if it specifically says that it'll work for a breakout or a road glide, I'm gonna know that the product is going to fit. Unless you buy it from overseas and then you're taking, a risk, at it actually functioning. But this is an actual functioning part. It's from Harley Davidson, and it's going to work just fine. I'm going to put, during the winter times, I'm going to put soft lowers. That's why I didn't go with the mustache. I didn't really care too much for the looks of the mustache. And honestly, I don't need to put my feet up and stretch all the way out when I'm on the road. Actually, I kind of feel a little weird doing that. On my road glide, it would be okay because the bike is, specifically designed for that. This bike's not designed to stretch your legs all the way out, although you could if you put the right guard on. But for me, I'm not going to go, 3, 4, 5 days on this bike, all at once. I'm not going to take lengthy road trips and, be in a position where I have to stretch my legs out. And that's, this is just going to be a bike that I'll ride around town, and if I do decide to take a 1 or 2 day trip on it, I'm not going to be all cramped up and uncomfortable doing it. I've actually done a lot to this bike to make it comfortable to where you can ride it long distance. I would say that the fatigue on the way I have it set up now would hit right around 5 hours, 6 hours. Then I would start to get a little fatigued. 8 hours, definitely going to be fatigued riding consistently on this. And that's why I'm upgrading to a tour bike that will take me the distance. If I want to take a 2-week road trip, I can do it on a Road King. I don't have to, succumb to a 3.5 gallon tank in a bike that can only get me about 5 to 6 hours of riding time on, and stopping every 120 miles to fuel up. But this bike is going to be functionable for, my urban and, somewhat lengthy trips. If I just want to get out and rip the pavement and do it in a hurry, this bike's going to do it. So anyways, folks, that's what I have. So there you have it. That's how you put on an engine guard. And it's the one major thing that people scratch their heads at when they try to look at how they can put it on their bike themselves. If you don't know that these plastic pieces exist, you're going to think that, I have to start taking parts and accessories off my bike in order to mount my engine guard. And that couldn't be furthest from the truth on these breakouts. These breakouts are just like any other bike in its frame, the softail frame. If they sell a product to attach to this bike, 99.9% of the time there's a hidden piece that you're overlooking like I did that will allow you to get this bike functionable in your process of customization. So it's a learning lesson. Like I said, I do believe that I'm the only FXBR Breakout video on this very topic, because I have searched all over YouTube for installation of an engine guard on an FXBR Breakout, most particularly a 2019 model. So there you have it. It's easy, folks. Once you get past this plastic piece, takes you less than 20 minutes to get it bolted on, fastened on, and you're set. So I hope this video helped you out. Please, in the link, hit the like, dislike, leave a comment, whether it's negative or positive, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the road this summer. Take care.